Man, oh man, have I lost my touch, ladies and gentlemen. I totally forget how to do an intro for the show because it's been so damn long. But my name is Victoria. That's Ian. Welcome to Radioactive. You may be a little concerned or confused by the title of this video. It's most likely going to read Radioactive, final episode, blah, blah, blah. But with that being said, this episode is kind of just like an update episode, I guess we're kind of calling it.
And we just want to go over like what we've enjoyed about the show, how much fun we've had working together, and kind of, in a sense, just kind of be like, hey, we just appreciate you guys for always supporting us and for just, I've said this once, I've said this a million times. We're not that big. We're not the next sensation or anything. And we don't give a shit about being famous from this. We do this because we have a lot of fun doing it. We do this because it brings us joy. We do this to make friends. And we do this because we're passionate about it. We don't care about fortune or fame. We do this because it makes us happy. And I'll go on a little tangent here. I graduated from UMSL in December of 2023. And since then, a part of me has died inside. I will not lie to you. I find that I have been very depressed since graduation. And, I have been trying to just look forward to bigger and better things as an adult.
But before we go into too much detail, for people who maybe occasionally watch our show but don't like really keep up with it too much, we posted, I think that was last week, on our Instagram that the Radioactive podcast is going to be going on a hiatus. We don't know how long that's going to be. Could be, 2 months, 5 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years. I don't know. But the more Ian and I talk about it, we're kind of thinking 5 months, 4 months, maybe. Um, but Ian and I have a lot going on in our personal lives right now. Uh, Ian is working a big boy job. He's now got a girlfriend, if I can publicly say that.
Yeah. We met and my God, it's refreshing. It really is to have a woman who matches my energy because I'm a pretty sporadic, pretty like cartoony kind of guy, right? And I have a lot of energy. And for some people, that turns people off. But wow, this woman is just incredible.
Okay, continue.
Bless you. But she's just great. I really like her. Knock on wood. I hope this works. We've been dating. We've just put a label on it. We've been boyfriend girlfriend for like 3 or 4 days, and I really like her a lot. And having said that, that comes with a lot of responsibility, right? If I want to focus on writing, and don't get me wrong, I've been able to focus on that, but I have a project that's now reached 1 year that I haven't finished. And it all comes down to motivation. I'm exhausted by the end of the day, 90% of the time. And it's hard to want to finish a novella rather than put together a poem or two, sit down for 30 minutes to an hour, work on that, polish that, make a TikTok out of it, right? I probably got
Wonderful.
over 100 poems, 120 poems in here, which is cool. It's cool that I've been able to work on that outside of Radioactive. But as far as short stories and novellas go, that takes a lot more time and effort. And, it's hard to stay motivated to do that.
hmm So yeah, you've got, lots of commitments in your life. I have had a lot come up as well. For those of you who don't know, I'm now playing in a band. I'm playing bass and I absolutely love it. We played yeah, except I play with the guitar pick. I ain't playing with my fingers. Uh, some people might call that cheating. I don't. I'm a guitarist, not a bass player. Don't come at me. And we played our first show back in November, and it was just like the best thing in the world. It was like the funnest thing ever. You always like dream and talk about doing something like that. And some people might be like, oh, don't get too excited. It's not on a big scale of performing. But hey, playing like 150 people on like an elevated stage in a bar for my first show was like fantastic. So
Victoria had a secret admirer too.
that was at our last show. Yeah, there was someone in the crowd that was like in between songs. I was just like tuning my bass, and then someone was like, "Who's the bass player?" And I was like, so caught off guard.
Yo, who's the bass player? She's hot.
Apparently, my face got really red. So please don't yell at me on stage because I get very, very, very embarrassed. But with that being said, I'm playing in the band now. I'm working a lot at my job. What else? Guitar lessons. There's just a lot going on, and I'm just starting to want to travel a bit more as well. Just get out. I'm gonna be 21 in June. I know some of you might be like, you're not that old, but hey, you ain't gonna be 21 forever. So I want to get out and I want to travel a bit. So, and I love the podcast, don't get me wrong, but just another thing to add to that list. So we just feel it suits to take a little break for now. Because it does get overwhelming and kind of we always want the podcast to be fun and we want to give you guys the best that we have. And right now we're kind of feeling a bit overwhelmed. I don't know how Ian's feeling, but that's how I was kind of starting to feel. Uh, I just wasn't having as much time to do other things that I liked.
Well, I tell you what, at first I cried in my car. I'll be completely honest. I had a couple of adult beverages with my friend. We might be getting an apartment together. Funny enough, we might be getting the same apartment that my old roommate and I had, Evan, who came on the show to do hot sauce, right? Um, you know, and then I really started to work full time, like at this new job. It's a big boy job. You have a lot of responsibility. You have an obligation to show up early, not necessarily stay late unless your supervisor advises you to. But, when you work 5 days a week, 9 to 10 hour days, and then you start dating, you get into a relationship and which don't take this with a grain of salt. I just got into a relationship, so don't take that with a grain of salt. But and I want to be a writer. I have this thing that I've been working on. What started as a short story in September of 2022 has turned into this hornet's nest, this big idea, and I think about it every freaking day. I really do. And one of the pieces to this project is a novella called I'm Home. And I'm so close to being done with it, but I'm tired and I have no motivation to sit down and actually finish it. But like I said, with the poems, it's a lot less stressful
Mhm.
than committing to something really big like that. And short stories can be anywhere from 8 to 20 pages. A novella is usually a bit longer, but I started to think about this more and more, and I'm like, is this really such a bad idea to kind of experiment with this and see, you know, where are we going to be at? I have a feeling that we're both going to miss each other. We're going to miss this show. Above all else, the podcast is great. But the thing that draws me to it more than anything in the whole world is Victoria. I love her. I love her mother. I love her family. Um, she has been a very good friend to me, and she has given me a very incredible opportunity to do this with her. I am eternally grateful to have worked with her. She is a person that makes Radioactive what it is, and I really am gonna miss you.
Oh, we'll still have our paint nights. But yeah, I mean, I love the podcast, and I remember like when Ian and I first was having the discussion about like, ending the podcast, it was like my mind was like, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. But the more, I've thought about it and stuff, and like there's I feel like it's like anything in life, there's always elements to certain things that you enjoy more than others. You know, you can have a job that you love, but there's most likely at least one thing that you're like, I don't want to do that, right? Like I'm sure Ian, you've had many jobs, so I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. But for the most part, like the podcast, something I always loved, you know, we've made many, many good friends out of the show, and I hope those friendships that we've made with people last forever because they're so much fun, right? And we've met so many cool people, and I've gone to work with Ian, and it's been so much fun. And what got me thinking, this isn't over? Two things. So I think that was like 2 weeks ago. There's a band that I've listened to for many years. They're a local band. I'm not going to say the name. And apparently they broke up. They're no more. Ian, I told you about this. I'm
You
not gonna
did. I completely forgot about
yeah,
that. And then you said that,
I'm
I'm
not
like,
gonna say the name, but just Ian knows. They're a band I became really good friends with. I went to like many, many shows, more than I can count. And apparently they broke up. It still hasn't been made official on their like personal or their main account, but like from what I heard, they're done. So
that's terrible. Because you really, you don't you have a tattoo?
no, that's a different band. Different band.
That's a different band. But
Yeah.
I mean, even still, it's like, damn, you hype these guys up a lot and
Yeah,
now they're
like
done.
they're an amazing band, phenomenal band. And the fact, and I was telling my mom this after when I heard about this, I told mom, like, Mom, these guys broke up. And we were talking about, you know, how like good they were getting and how much popularity they were starting to grow and stuff. And it had me thinking, like, you know, I'm talking about these guys like, man, they work so hard. Why are they like breaking up now? And but I feel like it just sometimes it gets too overwhelming and too tough and just other elements in life, and then you call it quits, right? So, and then that had me thinking, like with the podcast, we have so much other stuff going on that we're gonna like call it kind of quits. But you know, we work so hard to get the podcast where it is that I was thinking after, I'm like, I don't want to end it. You know, we've put so much work into it, even before you joined. Like, this podcast has been a massive like part of my life since I was like 16, I think, is when it started. So, like, since I was 16, it's been like a weekly or monthly like thing that I did. So, I'm like, BS to that. We're just got to figure some stuff out to make this work. You know what I'm saying? Point two to my story. You know, sometimes I ramble too much and then I'm like, did everything I just say make sense? So I hope that all made sense. Um, Second thing, let me take a cough drop quick here. Second thing. So when I was doing the radio show, when I first started doing it, since I was under 18, you had to have a supervisor doing like the board and stuff, whatever we call it, at the radio station. I was blessed to be accompanied in the radio station by a guy named Paul. Paul is the most sweetest guy ever. He was lovely to work with. And he always helped me with my shows. And the other night, I'm scrolling through my notes on my phone, and I come across a letter that he wrote for, it was a reference letter for the broadcasting school that I was going to go to when I graduated high school, which I didn't end up going to. I went like, I went for a few days and I'm like, no, I don't like this. So, uh, I was just reading this reference letter. I'm like, oh, you know, I forgot what he wrote about me. So I want to read just a line here. And I don't want this, I'm not reading this to like hype myself up or like seem egotistical. I just want to like share this with why this is such a big deal. So, in a nutshell, I'm just gonna read bits if that's okay if I share with you, Ian. Are you okay if I share this?
Sure.
Okay. So he says, to whom it may concern. I'm a bad reader, so please bear with me. It has been my absolute pleasure to work with Victoria during her time hosting Radioactive for 91.3 FM CJTR, Regina Community Radio Station. I've been helping to produce CJTR's youth programming since 2017 and have worked with a lot of young people over that time. From the first day Victoria showed up in the studio, she impressed me with her enthusiasm and professionalism. Uh, Next paragraph, because I'm not going to read this whole thing. Where Victoria particularly excelled as a radio host was in her interviews. Surprise, surprise, because what is this show all about? Typically, our youth programmers don't do interviews at all. Victoria, however, started pitching ideas for bands and musicians she liked to interview almost right away. Once she was given the green light, she independently arranged interviews with local rock acts touring through the city, both in studio and pre-recorded. Okay, that's all I want to say. So I read that whole letter though. I read that whole reference letter the other night when I was in bed. And I was like, you know what? Such a gift of talent can't be wasted. That is the
I'm
exact.
really, yeah. I mean, man, I really hope that that is the case because first of all, that is your story for how this started is really freaking cool, Victoria. It's first of all down here in the states, well, I guess this is true in Canada. Any freaking teenager with a phone can go viral like that.
Mhm.
But I tell you what people lack is work ethic and drive and the commitment to make something bigger than themselves. And you have done that with Radioactive. It's blatantly evident. And hearing how you started this at 16 is incredible, dude. I really am very lucky to have worked with you on this whole thing. And I think you are a very talented woman, Victoria.
If you're someone that, struggles with ambition or motivation in your life, find something you really want to do. Do you think small town, country town that I live in, do you think it was ever suggested, oh, maybe you should go into the city and try a radio show? That would be fun. No, that was never suggested. I just was like, I like music. I kind of like to talk. I mean, more on the shy side, but I don't mind it. But I love talking to bands. One thing I was always comfortable with was like going up to musicians. Just do what you like. I don't know. I can't stress that enough. Don't make people tell you what to do because that's just not okay. You're not gonna have fun. You gotta have fun in life. And this is fun.
And I am really proud of everything that we've done together. This has just been such a very colorful, it's been a very passionate, um, it's just been magnificent. This whole experience with you has just been so glamorous in every way. And for now, it is coming to an end. But I think what's going to happen is if you've ever seen a rom com or anything like that, it's going to be that little background music of us living our lives. Time's going to go by. And then one night, one of us is going to cry and call the other and be like, I missed you and I want to come back. Oh, can we do it again? And I think
No,
that's what's going to
you
happen.
know, I think we're definitely gonna come back. I just think we need, like, you and me are getting pretty busy with life. I think we just gotta go back to the drawing board, figure out some different ideas, how we want to execute certain things. It's all about the planning. Once you have a good, solid plan, we're flying. So, need a break, figure some stuff out.
Again, take this with a grain of salt, but dating, when the girlfriend wants to hang out, you got to make plans, to spend time with your significant other, right? And that pretty much that's a big part of your social life now. You spend a lot of time together and you want to do a lot more. And it's hard to find that balance, that median. I go and hang out with my friends every weekend and I want to focus on writing too. Victoria wants to focus on being a musician. Did you tell them that did you tell the audience that you got booked for a festival this summer?
Yeah, I can't say which one yet because it's not publicly announced, but yeah, my band got booked to play a music festival, a summer festival. So I'm ecstatic about that. I'm pumped because usually this festival, I mean it's a smaller one, but there's usually around 500, 600, 800 people depending on the year, sometimes 1,000. So I mean, and we're playing in the evening too, as far as I know. So it's gonna be crazy and I'm hyped about it. So, with that being said, hopefully that all makes sense with why we're going on a hiatus. I know there's lots of people that were kind of bummed about it, but don't unfollow us because I think we'll be back.
Cough, cough, Bellamy. Cough, cough, Cassidy.
Yeah.
I tell you what, those two are our biggest supporters, man. Bellamy and Cassidy. Those two are our biggest supporters, and
And
we
Aaron.
love you. And Aaron. We got Aaron too, and we love. I mean, Ruth and Nicole too. They've vouched for us, and they've done a favor or two for us. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. I love Ruth and Nicole so much. They are incredible women, and it's I believe it's International Women's Month, to my knowledge,
Think
and
so?
we just Ruth, Nicole, Cassidy, Aaron are just incredible women. And Victoria, my fearless leader, I look up to her, man. She's younger than me, but I look up to her in many ways. And I just want to give a quick shout out to all of the women in the world, especially Victoria's mother and my own mother. Without my mother, I would not be the man that I am today. And that could be said about my grandmother, Brown, too.
Oh my
Um,
God, your grandmother's name is.
she is, yeah. Well,
That's my
was.
middle name.
You mean to tell me that your middle name? Wait a minute. Time out.
I tried to
Your
make you
middle name
guess
is.
it. I tried to make you guess it so long ago and I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah, you never freaking told me your middle name, and I told you mine. Your middle name is. That is so funny. It's funny on a different scale because it's such an old lady ass middle
I
name.
know. I know, right? Take that with what you will. Now the whole world. No, actually, I think what would be really funny is if you and me just had this conversation, but every time you said my middle name, I beeped it out.
Please, no, that's awesome. Please do that.
Because then people are like, wait, what? What is it? You never get to know.
Well, you'd have to bleep out my grandmother's name
I
too during
will.
that little
I
spiel.
literally will. That'd be the funniest thing ever. Oh,
Oh my
see,
god.
this is the fun we have, just the most chaos. I'm happy. I'm proud of us. We did good.
We definitely accomplished a lot, and we've had a couple bands cancel, and we've had to cancel with a couple of bands due to this decision that we kind of made.
Dude, if I had to pick, like, I don't even know. If I'd pick a few people that, like, I really want to have on if we come back, Caleb Shomo is definitely up there.
Caleb Shomo would be incredible to have on here.
Caleb Shomo, Chris Motionless, and who else do I really like?
If we come back to this, and there's a chance that we will by the sound of it, our goal will be to find a way to get these bands' attention. And I feel like brainstorming as days go by will definitely help bring that to fruition.
And with that being said, the most the most what do you call that? Like influential way for us to get these people on is like, support from the people that watch this. So like literally the people that view our podcast, like we could not do that without them.
Yeah, we could not do what we do without you guys watching. That's what keeps us motivated. It's what keeps us going. Mind you, it depends on the episode, it depends on the individual we interview. But people have participated, people have noticed, people have paid attention, and that means the freaking world to us. It really does.
Mhm.
So, guys, if you take anything away from this, thank you for just being so supportive of what we do. And like I said, we don't give a shit about being famous from this. We don't care about money. We do this because we love each other and we do this because we love this project.
Exactly. So, yeah, we love you guys. Ian, much love to you, my brother. Um, we're gonna be peacing out, but I'm sure we'll be back. Don't unfollow us because we'll probably be back. So, yeah, this is we'll have our final wave for a while. So, Ian,
Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this.
raise your hand. Here, pinky promise that 95% chance we're gonna be back. Come here, bring your pinky here. Oh, 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 oh. Okay. All right, folks. Take care. We'll probably see you in a while. Maybe Ian's hair will be longer and his beard will be gone. Maybe my hair will be longer. Who knows? But we will see you hopefully soon. Goodbye, folks.